Okay.
And then we'll just let people show up.
Hopefully,
And I'm not gonna see any comments from people. Just saying, you guys are gonna have to be my eyes. I am. You guys are gonna have to be my eyes and ears on this one. So
that's fine. Question, Dev. I am not recording. Should I be?
No, I download the entire.
Okay, I always want to ask that before we get going. But all right. So, I see. Good. Okay, we're live. I see our YouTube link. Cool. So you guys ready to get going, or do you want to wait till we get some people chiming in?
Let's record it and get going, I say.
I'm in agreement there.
Done now.
Wow, they're like, chop, come on, let's go.
I run every day on a schedule.
They're like,
we're burning daylight.
We
just make sure you tweet out the live link right now out on Twitter so that everybody knows. So
it's out there. Yeah. If you guys have access to your Facebook accounts, Idiots Array one, you can actually go to the Tarkin and share it to that if it's easier, because I put it on Tarkin's.
I do have access. I don't. Mark, do you still have access to the page? Can you get in there and do that?
If not, I can do it, I think.
I don't even know. I haven't been on Facebook really.
Well, I know. And Ryder doesn't have a Facebook, which, yeah.
Nope.
So if you can, Becca, I think Becca, you and Mark are both admins of the Idiots Array page along with me. So if one of you can get out there and share it, go for it. Because I'm on mobile, I can't do both. So yeah,
all right.
I'm afraid I'd lose you if I tried.
Okay, let's see if I can do that.
I didn't bring my water down here. That's all right. I'm gonna get dry mouth. Oh well.
Yeah, I always have the water bottle. I had to get a new one.
Oh. Well, I've been drinking it because I've been out in the 80-degree temperature over the last hour and a half helping put
Welcome, have a seat. Remember, no fighting,
down,
only stare at Mark. Who did that? Ryder, is that you?
No, that was me.
No,
that was you, Devin. Whoa, look at that.
So we have a chat now? I don't see it.
So does somebody want to intro us?
Look on your right. Look on
your
right.
Hang on, multitasking isn't really my thing, even though I am a medical receptionist.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Just click on comments.
I did, and I don't know why I looked at it, and I'm just like, I don't see anything, and I'm looking right at it.
When you're ready, tell me. I'll get us going on this.
Cool.
Oh, you see my little intro in the notes and everything?
Oh well, I don't have the notes up. Let me see if I leave you guys. Can you guys see me if I drop out like that? Do you still see me?
It's just a sideways image.
It's just a sideways picture. It works, Alan.
Oh gosh, really?
Your video is off.
All right. Idiots Array now posting. There you go.
I'm not going to do this thing while I'm sideways here.
It's freeze.
I can do. I mean,
go ahead, Becca. You can
go ahead, Becca.
All right. I know we have no one in our. We have crickets right now. Crickets.
I don't want to be sideways, so I got to sit there like this. So it's okay.
Well, all right. So here we are, because Devin's Red 5 mom, is calling this Pitiful Little Band episode 2. The Roundtable Strikes Back. Yay. Good job with that, Red 5 mom. So as always, welcome to Behind the Podcast with the Pitiful Little Band Network. We're a collective group of positive Star Wars content creators with the hosts of Idiots Array, Kanata's Castle, and Tarkin's Top Shelf Podcast. So yay, everybody. Welcome. So, quick hellos. How are we all doing? Everyone doing good? It's a Saturday.
Great. It's a Saturday. The temperature is under 90 degrees here, and that is awesome. If we get it under 70 here, I'd be much happier, but, baby steps.
You and me both. My least favorite times of year is Hoth weather and Tatooine weather. I can go in between. Get me somewhere in between, and I'm good. Naboo's good. Naboo's good.
I like that.
Naboo in the fall. That's what you want.
What's that, Mark?
Is it ever like Naboo in Utah, though?
It's more like indoor if you go in the mountains.
Yeah, if you go in the mountains during springtime as the runoff's coming, you can get some pretty Naboo-like situations, yes. Although I would call it more Endor, which I'm okay with Endor, too. So
Endor's good.
Utah's more Endor during the spring and fall than it is anything else.
Endor's good. And Alderaan before the explosion would always be decent.
I mean,
Sorry.
if we were Alderaan, then we might be the first place to go. So hey, what can I say?
Oh my gosh.
Ryder and I will wave from a distance.
Yeah.
Guys, the Death Star's taking us out. Good to know you.
Always a rowdy bunch.
Ryder and I are literally like a mile and a half away from each other. So, you know.
So you guys could be like at each other's houses doing this.
I've done this at Ryder's house before.
That'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, there were some technical issues, and they just recorded
Alan
together.
just showed up one day.
Yeah, I did. But I'll tell you, it was one of the most awkward things was to sit there in the same room as Ryder and try and record this podcast. There was echoes, there was delays, and I'm just sitting there going, "Hey, Ryder, what's up?"
I was trying to rest my head on his shoulder at times.
Whoa.
Yeah, Ryder's a very affectionate guy. So.
I really am. People that know me know that I love to be touched. I love people in my personal space. I love small talk. Yeah,
brothers got a hug, man.
Not right
know.
now, you don't.
I don't know why
rules about that. Rules about that right now.
I don't know. While Ryder's wife went into the store at the mall, we just kind of chatted outside. You know, I don't know that we got cozy though.
Smart lady.
It's just a little, no cozy stuff there, right, Ryder? No cozy stuff.
Nope, not in front of
Oh
people.
my gosh. Now, Devin and I had a few opportunities to sit down with each other. And we had a good time. It was fun. I brought her Paula's donuts. So, how could you not have a good time? It was our first experience with those.
digesting those too, man. Those were
They're huge.
Okay. I got to speak of the look of this, the ambiance from my situation. The listeners or watchers are going to see this. So Mark's got his bookcase, which I always love. I always mention on the show. Ryder's got Han Solo in the background, and
I've got
sometimes he's got Han Solo kind of cut off over him and whatever. You've done that before. And then Becca, you don't have much, but Devin, holy crap, you look like you're on board the Death Star.
I know.
She is.
Well,
she's in the studio.
This
Nice.
is my son's sound studio that we built him in the last couple. We didn't build it. We converted a closet into a sound room for him because he's
awesome.
interested in doing voiceover work. So
So yeah, you look like you're in the Death Star. You're in prison, one of the prison sectors.
This is the door that you're seeing. This is the door.
Oh, cool.
That is really wild.
Right.
Yeah, that's tricky.
I really, really like that. I think I'm going to have to gut out a closet.
So we put all our buttons from Celebration on the wall because we thought, how do you decorate this room? It's like
Right.
sponge.
Well, it makes sense. Yeah.
I've kind of shifted. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's good. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I've shifted things around. I don't have the giant porg behind me anymore.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Oh, yeah. And what did you name him anyway?
I didn't name him anything at this point. My wife says he's my second wife. So, I mean, that might be, that might account for something.
That's a little awkward. I'm just going to say it's a little awkward.
Hey, I've told the story. She woke up one morning and saw it in the living room and simply looked at me and said, "What the heck is that?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, "It's a porg." She says, "How much did you pay for it?" I said, "I got it for free." She says, "That's still too much." So she did not agree with me bringing the porg to my house, but I still love it. It's plush and it makes noises, although I haven't used it fully yet. And it just I don't have a place for it yet. I got to get a couch set up in here, and then it's going to have its own corner seat.
There you go.
Yeah, I spent a long time deciding on bookshelves to do it, and then it's still not arranged quite how I want it because I'm still trying to figure out like what shows up. Like we got the Mario stuff, we got some video game characters, we got some Star Wars stuff, we got the books. I have the Lego Razor Crest now. It's there.
That's awesome. I see it.
But
Cool.
yeah, I mean it's a nice little space. Although if I were to turn the camera, I'm just in a basement surrounded by Rubbermaid containers and Smith decorations. The drop ceiling tiles are missing from it because we took it out.
It's very deceiving. You just look like you're in the Star Wars.
Yeah, this looks so professional, but it's literally if you turn at all, there's like walls.
So what you're saying is you're in a live studio, right? You're like it's like you're about to record a movie and you just have your set props behind you and that's it.
Yeah, you just build the part of the set that you need.
That's right.
In Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, there's actually a really interesting, like at the end of the film, they're all sitting having dinner and having a conversation. And then they'll have these like close-ups of Tom Cruise and close-ups of Jeremy Renner with like lights behind him and people walking by. But all of the shots that are tight shots, they filmed in an alley months later because they realized they needed to add some clarity with dialogue. So anytime you got a tight shot of their face and like lights that look behind it, like they literally have like some Christmas lights and the same person walking back and forth behind the shots. And like, if they didn't point it out, I would have never known. So this is movie magic right here.
Yeah,
Exactly.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. See, people would be looking and saying, she's not even a Star Wars fan. Becca's got nothing in her room. But
Yeah.
all my stuff is in
Your
my
shirt?
basement, but I'm not in my basement.
Your shirt.
Yeah,
Your
your
shirt.
shirt.
Yeah,
Those
you've got the
Wiggins.
Star Wars
Yeah,
shirt.
and
I don't
I
even
got
have
that.
a shirt.
That's about it.
I know
No,
what
I
you're
have a
going to
hat.
do
Speaking of shirts,
once your nest
I
gets a
have
little
a
emptier.
Weaver
You'll
Yes.
make a room.
University-
Oh,
a
that's
Weaver
awesome.
University Star Wars shirt. Now
There
look
it
at that.
is.
Oh my
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, the
Very
only Star Wars
nice.
t-shirt I currently own is my
Mark.
homemade and
I
one.
love
Well,
that
we
one.
love that
is
shirt.
the
So do
best.
I.
That is
And it's
the
always so I can hold it up and show that I'm a true
pinnacle
Star
of
Wars
Star
fan.
Wars shirt.
I'm a true.
And-
I love it.
And all the people that know me, I was talking to somebody recently. They were talking about me to somebody else that I had just met. And he says, Alan has a Star Wars shirt for every day of the year. I don't know that I have one for every day of the year, but I do have
That's
one
a
for almost
shirt.
every day of the month.
That's a
Nice.
lot of
And
shirts.
if
though.
if I'm not wearing a Star Wars shirt, all my friends call me out on it. Dude, this might be the first time I've ever seen you not wear
That's
a Star Wars
funny.
shirt.
So how often do you hear that?
Not often.
Okay.
Well, this is what I get. Don't you have anything else but Star Wars shirts?
What's
That's
the
what my
point?
husband's like. Do you have
What's the
something
point?
else besides a Star Wars shirt?
No, I usually
No.
get on our weekends when we sit outside and it's our quiet time, away from the kids. And it's just, adult time, as we put it, even though our kids are basically adults now anyway. My husband will be like, don't you have anything else to say other than Star Wars in the sentence? That is an issue. You would think 2 podcasts would kind of bring that down, but something always comes up.
It does.
But yeah, so speaking of Star Wars, there is some stuff happening. And I really want to just nip that in the bud now. Get that out of the gate first before we go into some fun stuff.
Let's do it.
Let's just do it. So there's been some stuff that's been going on, not just recently, but for a while. We're all aware of it. A lot of us, and I'm guilty of it. I'm just going to come right out there and say it. We've seen it. We've swept it under the rug and went about our business. It's come to a point where I, at least, can't do that anymore. I don't feel comfortable, especially someone who has survived some sort of abuse in her life, 12 years of it, to be exact. Even if it's online, it's just as bad. And I can't allow that to happen, especially in a space that we've created. So we're going to address this now. So there's a lot of things going on in fandom, as Devin put in the notes. I'm assuming it's Devin. She labeled it as toxic fandom. And unless it was Mark, I'm assuming it was
me.
it was you.
me.
So we're not naming names. That's not something we're going to do, because not that that's not important, especially for the one who is actually the victim here, but for privacy, we're not going to do that. But when someone does not want you in their space, whether it be physical space or in cyberspace and online, we need to give that person that respect and that courtesy and give them that space. The word no means no. There is no, well, what about this? Or how about this? It's just no. So I'm going to hand it right off to Mark, because I know you've got a lot weighing on your chest, and I'm going to let you take it from here about, giving people that respectful amount of space.
Yeah, well, basically, I too have been in a relationship that was toxic, and the person turns your life against you. So I know what that's like. Luckily, it was just a couple of years total. But the thing is, we started this network because we were experiencing on the back end, you might say, of the podcast arena that we were in before, some really negative stuff. And the people that were a part of that network in charge of that network, they were accused of some stuff several times by several different people. And, you know, for the first several times, it's just like I would just put my head down and move on. It'll blow over because it always did, you know, and I don't want to make waves, don't want to make drama. But then, you know, when it happened to us with things and it became clear that it wasn't just us, it was a pattern of behavior with tons and tons of people. We realized we couldn't not do anything about it anymore. So we started Pitiful Little Band. And now when stuff like this comes up, it doesn't matter how much of a fan the person was of your show. Charles Manson was a Beatles fan. Okay. It doesn't matter. You have to, at the very minimum, you have to block them so that they cannot interact with other fans that may be hurt by this behavior. So, and another thing is, women do not just make this stuff up for attention. It gains you nothing to come forward about things like this. And oftentimes it will lose you followers. In fact, in the last few days, I lost a few followers after tweeting about it. And some people would like to just say, well, there's drama, stay out of the drama, and be very vague about it that way.
Yeah, I'm guilty.
But you can't label someone's hurt and pain as drama and then just move on.
Yeah.
You can't do that. And, you know, at the very minimum, if you don't want to make waves, number one, don't make a vague post about staying out of drama. But number two, at the very minimum, you can quietly unfollow the person that is causing the problem. Don't have to block them. Don't have to make a big deal about it. And I will say the main person at the previous podcast network, I did unfollow. And then we'll say that his wife almost immediately came after me for unfollowing him. And I'm now convinced that that account, he was using that account to talk to me as though he were her. So I have learned that doing nothing is not an option. They say actions speak louder than words. Silence is an action. That is a choice that you make. So going forward, I'm not going to name names. I'm just going to say, I heard that this is going on. There's a person that's acting this way. We are blocking them from all of our networks. And moving forward, if people have questions about it, if it's not clear who it is, because usually it is. Usually it's pretty well known almost immediately because there are people that spread the information.
Right.
But if it's not clear, you can privately message us and we can talk about it. But the one thing that I've learned is that if somebody's being accused of this stuff, then 99.9% of the time, it's true. And we should listen to the women who are coming forward about it. Because if they're rude to the men, then you know that they're rude to the women as well. So anyway, we just want to go forward and let people know, like, we want this to be a safe place for all of our fans to interact with us, interact with each other. And you know what? Let us know if there's a problem, because we want to be proactive about it. And we, if we can handle it privately without harming the victim, I think that's even better than making a big public spectacle of it. So if people bring it to us privately, then we can just handle it. Because, you know, within half an hour of me hearing about this from Becca, we handled it on all our channels. And we said, we're blocking, and that's it. And, you know, from now on, I don't think I will name anybody specific when this happens, but I'll just put out the blanket statement again. Harassment won't be tolerated. You'll be blocked by our channels. That's just it, period.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like I said, this was a group thing, and, you know, we don't go against one another. It's going to have to be a unified decision, and that's how we saw it. And it's just, you know, we need to keep things safe. I mean, this is a space that we created. We do not want to see anyone getting harmed in that space. That's not what we're here for. So.
And I will say that, there was a pretty active chat on our first episode.
Yep.
It's not so now. But even I felt awkward at some of the things they were saying because, whether it was shorthand for stuff that I was reached out to later to get some clarification on the meaning of some of the stuff they said. But at first blush, it was just like weird conversation among the people that were there. And, I can see how that would be a problem. So even though we only have one person I can see that is a Twilight fan.
It's Jay from Stardust Podcast.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Jay.
It is Jay, mom of 2 young Padawan. That is her old handle back from hyperspace days and the when you could have your own blog roll on Star Wars. So yes, so that's how I know that.
To be safe for anybody who's on here chatting. And if anybody from the chat reaches out to you later and it's awkward, please let us know because we can block them even from this wonderful platform we're on right now.
Which we have done that. So
yeah.
And I will say, I mentioned in the text group, because yes, folks, we are all 5 of us are in agreement. We were all having a conversation back and forth. I was fairly quiet and I still am. I'm not eloquent with words, but know that I support all of these people here on the podcast, all of my friends. You're all my friends. I support all of you, but I also support this in the community because it matters. So just know, just because maybe I don't have enough to say about this or Ryder or whoever else doesn't mean I don't support it. We are all, there's a reason why the 5 of us are all here talking about it. It's because we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
Well, and what is really concerning to me is, there's times when you might put something out there like, I love The Last Jedi or something like that. And then people will attack you for that. Okay, that's fine. That's a Star Wars opinion. You don't like my opinion. That's fine. It's stupid to attack people for that stuff, but whatever.
Right.
But this is real life stuff that people's lives are being, maybe their lives aren't being threatened, but their livelihoods are. Their safety is being violated. And like Mark said, people putting this out for attention, that's got to be the stupidest way that somebody could think to get attention. People don't put that out there for attention. There's a million other ways you could get attention if that's what they're looking for. So you got to believe that what they're saying is true.
Yeah.
And Becca said we were talking earlier about women being sidelined in Star Wars oftentimes, and I haven't ever experienced that myself, but I can think of one time I put something out. It was after The Last Jedi about Kelly Marie Tran, how much I loved her, how her enthusiasm for being in Star Wars was infectious. And that's how, I felt like if I was in Star Wars, I would be so excited like she was. And,
right.
A few people came back and said, oh, that's so stupid because anybody that was a fan would be that excited. I'm like, first of all, save that. I don't need to hear that. And, I was just trying to put something out positive that I really liked her performance. I liked her attitude when she was doing interviews and everything like that. So I can only imagine what a lot of women go through in Star Wars fandom because nobody's ever questioned my Star Wars knowledge. And why is that? It's because I'm a dude. Come on. But there are women that I love talking about Star Wars with. 2 of them are here. Jay is another one. And not once have I ever thought, my gosh, I know so much more about Star Wars than these women. I am, it's just that thought shouldn't cross your mind for anything, even if it's women, men, anything like that. It doesn't matter how much you know about Star Wars. You're a Star Wars fan, and this should be safe, and this should be fun. And when this doesn't be fun, or it stops being fun, then what's the point? So, yeah, like you guys have said, this should be a safe place for people to talk about Star Wars. I don't care if you like Tusken Raiders or Padme Amidala or whatever. I will talk with anyone about Star Wars. And so I really like talking with the 4 of you. And I just, stuff like this in Star Wars is really, in any fandom, is troubling. And my wife she loves the saying that, toxic masculinity ruins the party again. And, maybe there should be a shirt that said fandom toxicity ruins the party again, or toxic fandom or something. It just, this
toxic menace.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Toxic Phantom.
And-
The
Phantom
Toxic
Menace.
Phantom Menace. Exactly.
And we should note also,
Sorry.
like, Kelly Marie Tran was bullied off of
Mhm.
Yep.
Yes.
Instagram. She never really publicly addressed it. There have been a couple of like, well, moments from like Ryan Johnson and Tom Boyega, like, why do you think she left?
Exactly.
But then let's not forget that Daisy Ridley got bullied off of Twitter before The Force Awakens even came out because she was the female lead of a Star Wars film and people couldn't handle it.
I'll take that one step further. Daisy was very active on Instagram, and she would put all of her training vids out there, and she left because people were getting they were sexualizing her in that way, and that just like and then they were also picking on the fact that she was thin. There's body shaming in all different ways. You don't have to be a certain size to be body shamed, and it was horrific for her. Horrific. So she left due to that. So, I mean, but yet you don't hear this happening to Mark Hamill. You know what I mean? Or, yes, stuff did hit the fan with Hayden Christensen. He's probably the one guy. And shockingly, I'm going to say it, he's also a Caucasian man. And he got hit one of the hardest in the acting realm of Star Wars with just being the wrong actor. He portrayed this character. He's terrible. I mean, it was awful. Hey, my daughter's in the chat. Hi, honey.
Don't forget Ahmad Best too.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
right
awful.
there. I mean, for being Jar Jar, which is still, I cringe at the fact of that because he was like the pioneer for that type of CGI, the motion cap.
And how long did it take him to talk about his struggles? 20
Almost
years.
20 years. Yep, 20 years.
And
20 years.
he went through a lot.
Daisy Ridley, she will not be silent about this stuff. She has talked about like, this is why I left. But like Kelly Marie Tran has really not gotten into it yet. Like she put out an article, but she never really addressed it directly because even if it's absolutely the truth, which it is in almost all of these cases, it is hard to speak about it publicly, to put yourself out there, to be vulnerable. And so if celebrities are struggling with talking about this stuff,
just
it's
imagine.
going to be hard for just a normal person.
So when how I mentioned the tweet that I sent out years ago about Kelly Marie Tran, like I had, and it was guys that were like, "Oh, this is stupid," and like even that, I'm like, "Oh man, that kind of hurts." Like what, I felt attacked, and it was minor, and so I can only imagine what people go through when they have, their performance is ridiculed, but when it's, people on Twitter that are just people like the five of us. And people attack them like they can't turn to a publicist or an agent or an attorney or something like that. They're on their own, it feels like.
Sure.
And so, we just, don't support the harassment. If you want to harass like Mark a little bit, that's fine. I will leave that charge.
This also goes for attacking actors and actresses for
And
their
directors.
personal opinions, and you really shouldn't. I mean, and not liking a character because a certain actor or director has a personal opinion on something, and I've noticed that too. It's just a character. Why do you have to
The same thing exists in sports. It's the whole there's the whole phrase.
My husband shares that with me.
But in basketball, there's the whole shut up and dribble. You have no right to have an opinion. Shut up and dribble. And that is actually a regular thing in the NBA. And the fact is, NBA players are people like us. They're allowed to have opinions. Actors, they're allowed to have opinions.
I don't see why.
They're right. And if you're going to go after someone because they have a difference of an opinion of yours, they're going to attack back. I mean, don't just let it go. You just keep scrolling. I said, like Dory, just keep scrolling.
What I don't understand is they're letting that affect whether they like a character or franchise. And it's like
you can't do that. You got to learn to separate.
This is something, Becca, you and I said yesterday when we were talking, that if we really knew these people, we probably wouldn't like half of them anyway. So,
so I'm going to wrap this all up from my angle a little bit and say this, and that is Mark said something that's very important. Boundaries exist in everyone. Boundaries are important. Your boundary might be different than mine, might be different than his or hers. Boundaries exist, and we have to respect them no matter what. Also, opinions of everyone are important. That's what makes us individual, and no one should be told you're the wrong color, you're the wrong sex, you're the wrong this, you're not allowed to have an opinion, because that's not right either, because everyone's that's what gives us individuality, and there's nothing wrong with that. And number 3, probably one of the most important things for me, vulnerability is okay. It's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to admit that you're vulnerable, no matter what it is, that you're vulnerable with your boundaries. They go hand in hand. It's okay.
Very well said. Thank you.
So
that was really touching.
Good job. Good job, Alan. Yeah, like,
I didn't bring my
you need a
Kleenex.
tissue. Wait.
I'm not. I said I'm not eloquent with my words,
No,
but
you are. I know.
but I'm just not. There are certain things I take very close to the heart, and these are some of those things. And all I'm going to say is, when this kind of stuff comes up, personal reflection, and we all need to take a moment for personal reflection. There is nothing wrong with that. And if something needs to be fixed in your own life, fix it. Period.
Yep.
Simple as that.
Fixing.
Absolutely.
So
how about some
Oh, my
fun
goodness.
stuff now, huh?
yes,
Yeah, let's do
please.
some
Let's get
fun
to the
stuff.
fun.
Too serious.
All right. So let's get to the, okay, let's see. First things first, because we're all excited because we don't have very much time yet to go until this happens. So Entertainment Weekly, we got 2 covers and some pictures of season 2 of The Mandalorian. The baby's back.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
My baby's back. Very excited.
Oh, here we go.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go.
Fancy
We're all
stuff.
fancy now. We're fancy now.
Nice.
No, I love it. Look at them.
I
Okay,
love
wait.
Grief Karga's new outfit.
Yeah, the white beard. Dude, okay, sorry. That's
Oh,
hot.
All right.
That's
Beck was
hot.
all over that.
I'm going there.
I saw Becca's tweet about the white
Yeah.
beard.
And peppered beards. Oh,
I
they're
was
hot.
like trying to show the white in my beard off, and my wife is the same way. She says she likes the salt in my cayenne beard. So
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm just, hey, I've got a little myself,
You're
guys. It's okay.
representing. Good
Mine
job,
all shows up
Alan.
here. I've got
Although-
white
although
on-
in-
yeah. So I
Although,
can't.
yeah, I was going to say, in fairness, I would say most of this up there is the same color, but there isn't much there, guys. There just isn't much there.
That's what happens. It goes away here and it all comes right here. That's what my husband says. But yeah. So people are questioning, has time passed? Like, is there going to be a time jump because he wasn't like that beforehand?
I think he
Or
has
is
a
he just
Or
like
he didn't have
Obi-Wan
a
Kenobi
beard.
and
Gosh,
just
I don't remember.
Hey.
So John Favreau or Dave Filoni, one of the two, in the article said it starts up right from where season 2 ended.
okay, so he just letting it grow in and the stress aged it, huh? Like
Yeah.
the
Hey,
Kenobi
hey.
thing.
Maybe we
Maybe
won't
he-
see grief at the start of the series, so every character is
That's
not in
true.
every episode, so maybe
And
time will pass sometime in the series. I don't know.
Sure.
and I don't know whether I should say, no offense to the present company of watchers, but you know what? He's probably got kids. Kids
No.
bring the gray hair.
No,
I'm
I
just
think-
saying.
No, you're
yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
right. No, you're
Kids
in my hair.
bring on the gray hair. So he's probably got kids behind the scene that we don't see.
Yep.
And like I said, present company is an exception, because I know there's at least a child of one of us in this chat, or a daughter
Yes.
or whatnot
No,
of one
she
of us in
knows.
the chat. So you
she
know,
knows. I went white the moment I went in labor with her. I had some white hairs coming in. I have shared that with her. So she knows. She knows. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, this one
Uh,
shouts to me. Yeah, look at the new T-17s, huh?
Oh,
That is.
Or I got to give myself one of those speeders.
no,
You
he's no. He's eyeballing the newest and latest, sleekest jetpack.
yeah, he is.
Ooh,
He's
I
got to
could-
get one of those.
I could go with that.
Two
Mhm,
blaster
yep.
rifles.
Mhm. I just love this. I mean,
Sorry, it's
look
religion.
at this. You can clearly see his clan symbol now. You
Yeah,
can
the class
see,
symbol's the cool part. Yeah.
right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so awesome. And of course, our little peanut, I mean, I'm sorry. He's just, I'm here for the child. I'm not gonna lie.
No.
You know, that picture, I feel like I could recreate that right here with mine. And
See?
me and Pedro Pascal, we
You
get
guys are like tight. I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
I
Ryder.
can't-
You're not that handsome even with a mask on.
You guys are bad.
Okay, I'm gonna move on.
Move on, Devin. Just keep scrolling up there.
Wait.
All right, now go back to Kara.
On that costume really quick. All I can do is think of Finn. Nice chrome dome. You know, he's the whole chrome dome thing. I'm just chrome dome there. Yeah.
Well,
All
he's
right, carry
definitely
on.
polished, but look at Kara. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
No.
Cool.
I'm sorry. Just everything about her for a female character in Star Wars is just so different, and just not just the costume, but her stature. And I love it because again, we get to see that, you know, not everybody is portrayed a certain way, correct? So she's just like, I'm sorry if and I'm not, but if I was a dude, I would not mess with her. I'd be afraid she would drag me out by the back of my head and toss me.
And you can tell she was an MMA fighter. And
I'm sorry, she was taking Mando to school in that episode, which, by the way, is still my favorite episode of the entire series, hands down.
He was wearing armor, and she was still giving him a beatdown. So,
yeah. And if it weren't for Baby Yoda in the soup, I think she would have kept going. I'm just saying.
Nobody knew what bone broth was.
Let me know when you're done. Right? I'm still here. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, but yeah,
that's for sure.
I'm just like excited to see, because we know at the end they were all separated at that point.
That was all we did.
You know, but I know that was it. They didn't give us much, and that's you know, and I'm gonna bring it out. We're gonna talk about it.
There's more.
Oh,
wait. There's more.
Yeah. Hey.
Becca's gonna
go down.
There it is. All right. First of all, look at the clothes too.
Well, that's Becca's picture. She was.
I like this, but let's look at his outfit now. It's completely different. He looks more regal. Am I wrong on that?
Oh yeah, got some money.
A Baron administrator.
Yeah. See,
exactly. He was like in some leadership role. I mean, obviously of the bounty hunters right now, but before that.
That look right there. That's like that guy over there's a dead man. Yeah. I'm telling you, he's a dead man.
Oh yeah.
Got a bounty on you right now.
Oh my goodness. Let's see.
Well, you know, roles have changed.
Let's see, we got Giancarlo Esposito.
Oh wait, yes, let's go there.
Where are we going?
This one? So Moff Gideon.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh man, so I love this actor, and I love how even as a bad guy, he is so charismatic.
Yeah, he really is always a bad guy.
It's like, I want to listen to this man. He's going to tell me something important, but he is so bad, but he's so good at it.
Yeah.
It's hard to completely hate him, even though he's evil.
Is it wrong for me to say that he is the Mandalorian's Tarkin?
He is.
No,
you're actually right on point with that. No, he is.
Because I'm looking at that profile there, and I'm thinking of Tarkin, and you could put them side by side, and they are just as ruthless and as likable. Mark, I'm going to go with you on that one, because likable, as ruthless and as likable as you could possibly get from the standpoint of where they're at. I love both of them, and him holding. Oh yeah, and him holding the Darksaber at the end of the series, I'm just like, all right, give me more, please give me more.
You know, I don't know if you guys watched Breaking Bad, but he was really good in Breaking Bad. He'd serve you some chicken strips and then shoot you in the back of the head after, and you'd be happy both times because he was just so good at being so bad. So.
Right. Yeah. No, he was in something else that JJ
something
directed.
About
I can't remember.
What about the power going out?
Yes, that
he was
one.
Bad guy in that.
Cloverfield?
Yes.
No.
Oh yeah.
No, it wasn't Cloverfield. It was something.
No.
It was
Revolution.
That's
Revolution.
It. That's it. Oh yeah, he was unbelievable.
He was really badly good in that as well.
Yes, great. And like I said, he's
goodly bad.
Goodly
bad. Look at his.
That.
Kate, seriously, look at his cut features and just
and put Tarkin like Peter Cushing next to him. You can totally see the same.
He's killing someone in this scene.
Oh yeah. Oh totally.
Or he's
Totally.
having someone
Choking
killed.
someone.
Yeah. Yeah. And like he's
Choking
one of those
them.
characters that he knows more than he lets on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He knows stuff. So
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there it is.
Okay. There's the saddlebag that all the bikers now are wanting.
You could just see him. He's such a cutie. Sorry, not the Mando. I'm talking about the baby.
The baby there.
It's all about the baby.
Yeah, look at this. We're all looking at the sleek bike and
And I'm just
Mando,
looking at
and then there's Becca looking in. Look, guys.
I am telling you right now, I'm calling it at Celebration. I am going to cosplay that crossover bag, and I'm going to have baby in it. Just the bag. I'm just going to do the bag.
Cosplay
Just
the bag. Perfect.
Cosplay the bag with the baby. I'm all good.
Right.
I love it. He's our little nugget.
He is a nugget. What's that? Chicken
Eric.
nugget.
Go
and
up,
chocolate
go up.
milk.
Go up.
Oh,
Go up.
did I mess
It's-
up?
There we
where
go.
did it go? Was that the end or no? That should
No,
have been
no,
the
no.
end.
Let me go back
Where's our
to,
bantha? Where is our bantha? We have a
Oh, yeah.
bantha.
I wonder if they got an elephant for the bantha.
What the heck? Okay.
Well, they
I'm
did.
totally
He
not
looks
Not
fantastic,
it.
by the way.
Oh, we lost it.
Let's
Oh,
go back
dear.
one.
Hold on, I'll get it.
Who's driving this ship? Come on, people. No.
It ain't like
It's not my
Okay.
fault.
Okay,
Right, right.
I did figure this chat thing
There.
out a little bit, and look at this. Eric just joined us. Hi, Eric.
Awesome. Hey, Eric. There he is. Oh my gosh.
Look at the beardy boy.
Oh,
Okay,
Finally
tell
get
me
to
that's
see
not awesome.
some cool
Like,
banthas. Those are
it's
going to
awesome.
be so cool.
So
Yeah,
I
there's a-
guess they're going back to Tatooine.
I guess so.
But
Yeah,
there were
it-
Jawas on other planets too, on another planet too. So maybe the Banthas have gotten off Tatooine.
Well,
but
my understanding the
definitely
Boba
sad.
Fett showed up at the end of that one episode where they killed
the 5th episode, yeah, we think
Yeah.
it's Boba Fett or
and
something
so
like
I
that.
think there's going to be more Boba Fett.
two things come to mind when I see this bantha. Two things come to mind. One, that is dark crystal. It's got to be dark crystal. And then number two, that is one ancient looking Snuffleupagus.
Oh, Snuffleupagus. Now my Indiana there is probably going, yes. Yeah, no. Oh my gosh. Definitely you can see some dark crystal vibes. I'm not denying that, but he is fantastic. I would love to be working
Yeah.
on this project like right now.
Oh, yeah.
Good bantha boy.
Oh
Let's
my
see.
gosh, that's awesome.
I think this is the last one.
Oh my
Oh,
God, look at the
Baby.
face. I mean,
He's
come
cute.
on.
He's so cute.
I think Mark Newbold said it the best. He put out a tweet like someone says, what do you first think of when you see this image? And he says a bald gizmo. I started laughing. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. It is. It's Giz. I mean,
One of my brothers pointed that out too, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of true. He's like he's a gremlin that hasn't gone quite all the way bad yet.
no, he's too cute to go bad.
Although let's be fair here. Gizmo or Gremlins going bad versus little baby Yoda in the dark side. Which one's worse?
Oh, well, obviously he'd be more deadly. I mean,
no,
he'd
yes.
choke you.
Shoulder bag shot.
Force choke, yeah.
There we
No.
go. Oh, this is a good one. I like this one.
There it is.
Oh.
See, that's the crossover bag I'm going to cosplay. That bag. I'm going to do that
Okay.
bag.
Oh,
I am.
yeah. That's cool.
I don't know. That's not a proper baby carrier. I don't know how to feel about this.
He's keeping him close
In a
by.
galaxy far, far away.
It reminds me too much. Is that the bag the Stormtrooper had him?
Oh, don't
Remember,
say that. That's
the
mean. He's going to have
bassinet,
PTSD from that.
There's a great interview. Jason Sudeikis, he is an actor, obviously. He is in this new show on Apple TV Plus called Ted Lasso. It's a great show, and he gets hired to be a coach. He's a football coach, a college football coach from Kansas. He gets hired to coach a soccer team in England.
Okay.
And just so positive. It's wonderful. But he was on Conan O'Brien, and he did an interview about the show, and they brought this up that he was the one that punched Baby Yoda. And he's like, the thing is, I forgot. And I'm watching this show, and I'm
Echo
loving
Yoda.
it.
I like that.
And then
Eric, sorry.
I woke up the morning this premieres, and my wife says, "Hey, you're trending on Twitter." And he's like, oh yeah, must be something good. And she's like, no.
Jay,
No.
I'm reading comments and I'm dying here. Jay says this is going to sound weird, but I'm really excited about that bantha.
Yeah.
And then you need to read your daughter's.
I did. I love Snuffleupagus. Sorry, it took me a minute. She had to look up how to spell it.
Everybody
Oh yeah. Yeah, she was
I
big
couldn't
on
spell
Sesame
it.
Street. No way. No. And then yes, I agree, Jay. I hope Ludwig is gonna be doing the theme, and yeah, he's amazing. Let's get on that. I'm glad she brought that up because that music is so completely different, but yet
It's unique.
it sounds like Star Wars. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And you immediately recognize it as that theme for that show now. So
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Here, I don't think Ryder and Alan were on yet, but we were talking, and my son was down here and got to talk to Becca and Red 5 mom, Devin. And he, before I got on, was humming the like he loved it.
Okay.
Oh,
See, that makes me so happy.
And
like
it's incredible. It's iconic. And, you know, the way he weaves it through the series as well, just in different and creative ways. I love it. So I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Now, how old is Harrison? Can I ask you that? How old is he? He's 7?
Ryder.
We lost Ryder.
We lost Ryder.
Oh, he's back.
There he is.
Oh, there he is.
I thought we had the spinning wheel of death for a minute there.
Mark got excited.
I have to say this
I saw that twinkle in his eye.
You was talking about your son humming that theme. It brings back memories when I married my husband. Jacob was 8. All right. And he's our baby. So 8 years old. And at the very end, our DJ knew that I was very much into Star Wars. So he played all the Star Wars themed music, and he started playing the music from the Phantom Menace when they drop off all the droids, you know, and they're all hunched in and they do the stand up. My son got right down and started doing the whole thing. And Jay was just like, oh my God, like she was like, as if she was watching a Star Wars film, like right then and there, like, look at your kid, you know? So it was just great to see him do this, you know? So I totally get it. You know, that joy that you get from a young one, you know, having that tune in their head and they can hum it and do things. And it's like seeing Star Wars through their eyes. It brings you back to why we're really doing what we do and why we love it. And
it's for the kids.
It is. It was meant for the kids. I mean, you know, I was 4 or 5 years old when it came out, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So this was, you know, I didn't get the themes and all that until the prequels came out. So I think that's why I never had a trilogy that I did not enjoy, because I grew up with it. And I've always said this, Star Wars is one of those things that each generation has their Star Wars. And you grow with it and it changes. Like when your son really gets to go back, like say when he's 20 and say, I'm going to go watch the really, you know, like the very first Star Wars again, he's going to have a whole different viewpoint than he does now. And it's like, that is like the coolest thing is for him to say, you know, I never noticed this. And this is what this is. And that's why I think for us doing what we do as content creators, we can keep coming back to it, because the more they add to it, the more something changes and has more meaning than what it did before. And that's that element that I look forward to. You know, I may not like everything, but there's something in it that's going to change how I see something. And that's the exciting part, at least for me.
And Jay
I've been rewatching all the Star Wars with my son. We started like when this whole pandemic hit, and we're on The Force Awakens right now. And he's 8 years old, and it's fun to see what he picks up on. And you know, going back and seeing when they get to Maz's castle, and she says, "Who's the girl?" to Han Solo, and it cuts away. I'm thinking, what happened then? But then knowing now with the Rise of Skywalker that Luke and Leia, and I'm assuming maybe Han knew who Rey was. I would like to know what that conversation was about, because you know, Han says, "You have a name," and she says, "Rey." Okay, and then you know,
he's like,
it's like
Rey.
I always thought Han knows something. It feels like he knows who she is, and then it all got tied up with the Rise of Skywalker. So
they do know. They do
ads
know.
to
Oh,
these
my
other
goodness.
movies.
Well,
Wow. Yeah,
and
so
I'm
I was
gonna
going to say, Jay in the chat says she's obsessed with the music, and that episode of The Gallery was my favorite. That was my favorite episode as well.
Very good.
I am not quite obsessed enough to drop $200 on the complete vinyl set from Mondo, but oh my goodness, I am tempted.
That's a lot of money.
well,
It's a lot of money,
I'm-
but it's also a lot of vinyl.
and I'm going to go back to the theme you guys said a few minutes ago, and maybe this has been because of my absence from Twitter. This has helped because it was easy to get caught up in the, as we've been using the toxicity, if you will, where people bagged on the prequels, people this, people that.
Mhm.
Having been away from social media, from Twitter especially, I've gone back and rewatched the prequels and especially Attack of the Clones, and I went back to why I loved it in the first place, because during that toxicity, there were times I'd watch it and I go, okay, people make a good point, man. I don't feel so good about this, but having been away from it, I can sit back and watch it and go, holy crap, this is a good show. I love this, you know, and I can't look at it and think there's anything really wrong with it. In fact, I watched Attack of the Clones, a couple weeks back, and love it. And so, yeah, this is where it's at. Star Wars is where it's at.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
Cue the Beck. Isn't that a Beck song? Come on, Mark. Where it's at?
Oh, yeah. Got you. Microphone.
Wow, you're
People
slacking
have been
over
ready
there.
for that. Come on.
And, you know, I've been
All right.
listening to Beck a lot lately, but I'm in the last few years part of his catalog right now. Just like Morning Phase, Colors, and Hyperspace, like on repeat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm. We have someone else in our chat. Hello, Ember. If they go back to Tatooine in season 2, I hope we get more of Pelimoto and her droids.
Oh,
from the
yeah.
document.
Oh,
Oh,
that
Yes,
woman.
yes,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
That-
loved it.
Her
I
exit
loved
was
her
too quick.
connection. Yes, and I loved her connection with the child. Okay.
Yeah, like,
You know,
can't
she was
leave your
really
child
picking on
alone
Mando,
here.
like, you're not doing this right, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, and I hope we
Mom
get
was
more-
stepping in.
I hope we get more Finnick Shan as well. Because,
yes.
well, you
Hello.
know, they asked her if she was going to be back. They asked Ming-Na Wen if she was going to be back, and she was a little bit not answery about it.
She was
So,
fake.
Yeah.
By the way, can I just say that I am thrilled about Bo-Katan.
Yes.
And
Oh my God.
Katie Sackhoff. In fact, I'm
Katie
watching
Sackhoff?
I'm
Yeah.
I'm watching a show on Netflix right now that I'm watching her, and let me just say, she's freaking amazing. I'm watching this show called The Other Life, and I think it's called The Other Life. But she worked. I don't even know who she worked for, but they go out in space to find this alien nation that has kind of parked itself on Earth. And so she's taking a crew out, and she's kicking butt and taking names in this series. And I'm just like, oh, this is going to be Bo-Katan. Which, hey,
Yeah.
can somebody tell me, how did I not ever realize she was actually the voice of Bo-Katan?
oh yeah,
How did I
yeah.
not?
Oh, yeah.
How did I not
Yeah.
know that?
I don't
I
know.
know.
yeah,
Okay.
she-
Incredible in Longmire, which I
Yes,
think is all on
Longmire's
Netflix now.
awesome.
Also,
Yeah.
Great
Battlestar
show.
Galactica, the
Oh, yeah.
So-
new series. She was.
So I highly recommend.
Right.
Yeah, I highly recommend the show I'm watching too, because she gets on the bridge, and there's this guy on the show that tries to mutiny and take over, and she comes back,
yes.
kicks his butt, and says, "You're not taking over this ship. It's my ship." And she tells everybody else, "If you have a problem with me, then I'm going to put you back on ice because I'm in charge." I'm very much.
I'm
looking
in
forward to
charge.
Katie's.
I'm
Yep.
in charge. Sorry.
I'm looking forward to Katie Sackhoff right now. I really am. So I
Now,
like
was
her a
that
lot.
confirmed? Because I don't remember that being a Lucasfilm confirmed thing.
I don't
Was
know. I thought it was. I thought it
too.
was.
it? Was it?
One
I
of
thought
those
so.
could have been about Clone Wars because she's
That's
back. in
what
the-
I thought, because she was back in the Clone Wars. I don't remember that being.
about
Maybe not. I don't know.
do was when
Well-
they were filming The Mandalorian season 2, and
Yes.
that would have been after they recorded stuff for Clone Wars. So I can't say for certain, but if the Darksaber is in play, then
Then how can she not be in play?
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And she can dye her hair, she can wear the helmet, whatever.
Right.
So because she's the last one that had the Darksaber. She was. She got it back. She's the last one that had it. So, if Gideon has
How
it,
did
then
Gideon get
How
then
did he
how
get
did he
it?
get it? And is she on a mission to find it? I'm just saying if it
Or
is not
she alive?
official,
That's
we're
what I'm
making
worried
all the
about.
cases why it should be official and why she should be. So
Right.
I know we're not a speculatory group,
No.
but I'm going to speculate, and I'm just going to say if she's on, she kicks butt, and I want to see her. So yeah.
There
Well,
you go.
knowing Dave, we'll actually probably get a story behind how he did get that saber. We'll definitely find that out. That's not going to go untold, knowing Dave, because it's just how he is with his story directing. I'm sure we'll get a wolf or two also somewhere, some sort of wolf type
makes
creature.
sense.
Yeah.
We haven't
and-
even gotten to the High Republic yet.
Yeah, and I definitely want to talk about that a bit if we can. Can you pull that up, Dev?
Yep.
The High Republic stuff. And that's funny that you say that, Jay. She was just saying that how her 18-year-old came down the stairs talking about watching the actual micro series of Clone Wars. And that's and that was his childhood. And that was my son's too as well. He started with that, then got into the Clone Wars that Dave Filoni and George did. That stuff, it doesn't get any better. Okay, look at this. Okay, go back to Yoda there.
Well, it's like automatic.
It's automatic moving. Sorry.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah,
stop it.
so
I love Yoda.
there he is. I'm sorry, I get Shrek vibes when I look at him. Why do I get that? I mean, no offense to Yoda at all, but that's what I'm seeing. I know a lot of people are saying they get a mixture of Yoda with Mace Windu mixed together.
Yeah,
No.
it does.
That shot right there. That shot right there is the end of Attack of the Clones. That's the end of Attack of the Clones right there.
Oh yeah.
Begun the Clone Wars has. That is his look.
The shroud of the dark side has fallen.
Yes.
There it is.
Look at all those young Jedi behind him. I can't wait to see him.
I know.
See, this is going to be the most important thing in Star Wars since the saga. I mean, this is going to a whole new time. Like, I know the Old Republic has been out for a while, but it sort of sits in this limbo of like it was around before the canon was reset, and it still just kind of exists. And it seems like they're trying just not to interfere with that at this time.
Right.
But this is a whole new time period, like stuff we've never seen before.
Except for Yoda.
Except for Yoda, but not this young and angry.
Oh, yes. He's 700 years young? 600, 700 years young, right?
When you put it, when you look at it, too, the color palette makes you think of the golden era.
Then that's what they're calling it. It's like their heyday,
That being years said, you reach. Too old for this poodle, will you be?
No,
I'm still waiting for them to pull out Maz Kanata. Okay, and I say that only because she's older than Yoda. Yeah. She's been around for 1,000 years, right? And I could see her opening up her watering hole for the Nile. Everyone's welcome.
But if you're going to do that, and that's a perfect segue into what I was just going to say. If you're going to have Yoda and then, of course, have Maz Kanata, then her boyfriend needs to show up at some point in time.
Well, he's a babe at this point.
I'm just saying, they live to be, 400 years old? So we could bring him back to his teenage days and it'd be okay, can't we?
Yeah, he'd be pretty young. Yeah.
Before he's born, because he's 193 years old.
And Solo, Star Wars story. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
okay,
I think he's just a babe.
You're 193 years old. You look great.
Oh, Chewie. But yeah, so we are getting
Jedi. I mean, come on.
Wait.
I know.
You said Chewie, and on the right-hand side, you said Chewie. You go up, and on the right-hand side, I swear I just saw a Wookiee.
A Wookiee Jet. Oh, there's a baby Wookiee. There he is.
Yep, there's a baby Wookiee there, right up on the right
baby
side.
Chewie.
It's a Funko.
Little Chewie.
Well, this is awkward. We were just talking about you.
Right? But no, I mean, am I wrong to think that they could somehow make a connection with Maz, with the Nile, who are the scoundrels of the time? They're like the pirates, correct?
Yeah. Okay, and also, I just want to do my wild speculation right now.
Do it.
So there's a Trandoshan Jedi.
Yes.
And the Trandoshans are known enemies of the Wookiees. Way back. What if this Jedi, Trandoshan, saves a certain young Wookiee from annihilation by other Trandoshans?
Hey, there you go. There you go.
Introducing Chewie, baby Chewie.
No, Chewie was not that old.
He's 193, so it could happen. I'm just saying
It could happen.
Okay.
You know, when you talk
Well, he's
about
193 in Solo.
So
So just imagine how,
it was about 200 years ago.
Yeah.
right?
You know, you round. So maybe this is
Yeah.
actually 192 years ago, and you got a little 1-year-old Wookiee. Just saying.
Well, this guy makes me
Oh,
think
Eric.
of the Legends books, you know, the Jedi Academy books. There was a Trandoshan.
Bye, Jay.
Bye,
Bye,
Jay.
Jay.
And Eric had a good question. He said maybe Maz is a Nihil.
She could be.
She could
Although
be.
she doesn't seem that nihilistic. Sorry.
Oh, he's 200 in A New Hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, he, like I said, you figure 200. Okay, yeah. So 200
Okay.
years before the Phantom Menace.
I'm
guys.
giving out good Chewie vibes. You know.
Okay, go with this here, and I can't speak of back in, you know, much of this. I'm not keeping up with you guys here, but Ember brings up an interesting point. Do we know if during the High Republic time frame, if the Sith are practicing the rule of two? I would love some Darth Bane, and I am not going to disagree with that. Bring on some Darth Bane canon. I would be okay with that.
Yeah, I don't know, because it sounds like the Jedi or the Jedi defeated the Sith a millennia ago.
1,000 years before the
But-
Phantom Menace.
Right.
We have seen that the dark side manifests in many different ways, and it's possible that the Sith can operate without being known to be Sith.
Right. And let's, on that notion, Mark, in the sequel book to George Mann's Myth and Fables, one of the last stories is about how the Sith can retain their essence, very similar to how Palpatine did. And on Exegol, that's kind of where they go. We do know from that story, they are kind of in the shadows.
Yeah.
Just because you don't see them doesn't mean they don't exist.
Right.
So to say that that's not happening, I would say would be very ignorant. So it definitely probably is happening.
I believe it's not happening. And I would say like Mace Windu and the Council were so resistant to the idea that a Sith Lord was operating. They were ready to dismiss it out of hand until the end of the Phantom Menace. So I would say that they can encounter Sith in this and just not know that's who it is.
Right.
And I
go ahead.
I was gonna point out that it's interesting to me because Bane even makes an appearance in Rebels, right? Or no,
It was
Clone Wars. He makes an appearance in Clone Wars. But it's interesting to me, you're bringing up Palpatine, and this can go with the Sith here, how they tried to find a way to carry their essence on, and it was Bane who began the process of trying to find how to live beyond death. You have the Sith who use cloning and things like that in a form to hold their essence and to progress on, where you have the Jedi using, and this is an entirely other topic, where the Jedi through Mace Windu learned how to live beyond the grave. But you make a good point. We could see the Sith very hidden along the way, and maybe just kind of working their way up. And you know, Palpatine was calculative. How calculative were the early Sith in the way they did things, in literal and in the way they did things? So
And
maybe
to connect with that, we learn from Kevin Scott, and a lot of us here love him, right? Red 5 Mom. So I know, sorry. So Dooku Jedi Lost. Okay, one of my favorite characters from that book, and I'm constantly asking questions about her, is Master Lean Castana. Her duty was to hunt down Sith relics and put them in like a room and keep them safe. And Yoda believed that this wasn't necessary anymore, but she believed that it was, to keep them out of the wrong hands. So where did this come from? Were they doing this 200 years ago? Was there a master Jedi in charge of hunting these down so they would stay out of the wrong hands, like upcoming Sith, right? So are we going to see this in the High Republic?
And I'm gonna add to that, Becca, because and I know we're coming up on time here, but let's go back to Chuck Wendig's series and the Acolytes.
Yes.
The Acolytes, because what did we see? The essence of the Sith could come across with a simple putting on of a mask. So if it happened in the after later after Return of the Jedi, who says it doesn't happen 200, 300, 400, 500, even 1,000 years prior, that the Sith use different elements to imbue their essence into, so that they can live on through that, on and on and on and on and on.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I have to do it. Essence.
I know that you think of it.
Yeah. Dark Crystal. I love it. Sorry. I can't help it.
So I'm pretty excited about this.
Me too.
I'd say let's leave the comic preview for another time. Let's talk about it when it's out. That's going to be some epic stuff. But I did want to address the last thing on our list here, which is Josh Gad talking to Daisy Ridley. And
I love those two together. I love those two together. Sorry.
Yeah, they're really funny. I really enjoyed their behind the scenes stuff for the Orient Express. It was hilarious. But I got to say, she said that at one point she was told that she would be a Kenobi, and then she turned out to be a Palpatine. And people are taking that to mean that, they didn't have a plan and it sucked. And I want to say, like, you have a lot of ideas and you go with what works the best for you. And I have to say, if you get too married to an idea too early in the creative process and you stick to it and you're not open to something different, like, just think about how much her being a Kenobi would ruin everything that we know about Obi-Wan, and how much they'd have to go back and change about the character just to make that make sense. Okay. Yeah. So put that aside, but then also just the thematic resonance of having Palpatine back, having her have to make this choice. And then, ultimately choosing to be a Skywalker. Like, it wouldn't work as well if she's like, well, I was a Kenobi, but now I'm choosing to be a Skywalker. Like, it would have been a very different film. I don't think it would have worked at all. And the fact that it works at all is a miracle. Like, the fact that
sorry,
just think about it. The Rise of Skywalker works pretty well. It's not the best of the new ones. I think that the pacing is still a little bit wild. Yes. At the end of it works.
They had a mess to work with. They lost their main character actress.
Yeah, without Carrie Fisher, like, they had to do something.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
The thing I will say is, there's a show that I often bring up when we're talking about, like, creators sticking to their original concept. There was a show called How I Met Your Mother. It was 8 or 9 seasons long.
Yes.
I loved every single minute of that show. I was the biggest fan of that show. And the original concept for the show then was that he marries his best friend because the mother died of cancer or something. And, he's telling his kids and basically asking them permission to date this other person because the mother had died. Mm-hmm. And this is revealed in the last 5 minutes of the last episode of the last season, where you're finally getting to know the mother and you're really loving this character. And then, nope, she died.
Like, that's it?
Oh,
that's it?
And here's the thing. If the show had gone...
That's great. Sorry,
if the show had gone for 3 seasons, fine. But you can tell they already had the ending filmed, because it was told like a narrator. I think it was Bob Saget as the narrator. He's talking to his 2 kids.
So.
Yeah.
And you can tell that they filmed all the stuff with the kids in the first couple seasons, because they didn't show up really at all during the rest of the show until the end. And so they had this idea. They were sitting on it for the entire 9-year run, and it didn't occur to them once that, like, maybe it wasn't the best idea to end the show this way. Like, you spend forever trying to meet this person. You finally meet them. You get to know them. They have their meet cute. They finally get together, and no, she's dead. Like, and that last 5 minutes ruined it. I can never watch that show again. And I loved it.
And the entire series too is you come to that pinnacle at the end, but the entire series, in my mind, when I watched it, revolved around one character, and it had nothing to do with that at the end. One character, one character and his playing everybody around him, and just be that one character is what I felt like that whole season was, or whole series was. Never seeing the underlying meaning, and then in the end, the last couple episodes and right down to that season ending, or it's fine, series finale, I was just like, wait, what?
Yeah, they finally gave a character that was a player a good arc and a good relationship, and then that got
and then you end
too.
On that. Yeah, so
basically what I'm saying is, it is possible to have an idea that is good, and then to come up with a better one while you're working on it.
Right.
In fact, the original Star Wars
was
that film was created in the editing room.
Yep.
They originally had 2 Death Star trench runs. They didn't have the rebel base in danger. Like, if you notice, when they're showing like the rebel base close to being killed, it's in graphic form. It's a graphic that's showing a picture of what's happening, but you never see like during the Death Star battle, you never see Yavin once, because in the original cut, the Death Star is just floating in the middle of space and they fly out to it and they do their work. So that movie was saved in the editing room. It wouldn't be what it is today if they had just stuck to the script and what they had filmed.
Right.
And so, like you might like the idea of Rey being Kenobi better, but would that really have worked? It is possible to come up with better ideas. When
I'm going to wrap this conversation up with something in addition to yours. And then, but first I'm going to say this: Daisy Ridley, Josh Gad. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
This whole conversation they had takes me back to after The Force Awakens, where the two of them are joking back and forth. You remember that little montage back and forth? Like,
I do.
Rey. Who's Rey's parents? Who is Rey? And that whole thing, that whole hilarious thing. But now back to wrapping up what you said, Mark. There's another reveal too that goes right along with what you said. The fact that Vader was Luke's father was a last-minute decision as well, if I remember correctly.
It was going to be Kenobi killed your father.
Yep. And it was on set, and everyone on set expected one thing, and something else came out, which made Mark Hamill's response even more pure and true, even more perfect. So there is nothing wrong with a little change. There's nothing, and I can imagine every Star Wars fan who loved Vader up until Empire that probably jumping off a ledge going, no, this can't be true.
Right. Now, and also in that film, I Love You, I Know.
Yeah.
Yep.
That wasn't in the script. Go ahead, David.
Let me ask, how many of us actually, we were extremely surprised to hear Palpatine was the villain in The Rise of Skywalker.
I was surprised.
So they kept that pretty well under wraps, just like, I am your father. So,
and Mark and Ryder know that I was not afraid to say, and we had our text conversation. You guys remember what I said? I said, if he is, I don't know how I can enjoy this film. I did not want that to be. I did not want them to bring back Palpatine. You guys remember that? We talked about this. I said, there's no way this shouldn't happen. I don't like it.
You weren't alone. There was a lot of people that didn't want that.
And they brought him back. And I'm not going to lie. The first time I saw the movie, I thought, wait a minute. But then I went back the second time and I go, okay, fine. Okay. This is, and since then it's grown on me even more, but yeah, I couldn't do it at first. I couldn't, but yes, that's what the joy of story making, story writing, what all of this has been fun is that we're not going to agree on everything. We're not going to like everything, and that's okay. And it's still fun. It's still beautiful. It's still magnificent. It's great.
Absolutely. And bye, Adriana. I love you too. And, going on with all that, with the whole Palpatine thing, I didn't really see it coming, to be honest with you. I know when they finally, I don't know if it was right before they announced that he was coming back or if it was after, that's when Mark and I really started going back on Tarkin's Top Shelf and going through the aftermath, looking for nuggets. And I think it was after the fact that they announced it. And we're like, well, wait a minute. If you read this thoroughly, you can see the breadcrumbs that they were trying to do this. At some point, it was an idea. Whether or not it was something they bounced back and forth. And let's be honest, George was the same way. Oh, yeah. He had an outline, but he went back and forth. Okay. Luke and Leia, they were going to be a thing.
Yeah.
All the different
now brother and sister.
Yeah. He didn't even have a plan for the prequels.
No.
Like he knew what had to happen, but how to get there. That was
right.
He went completely different than we thought he would.
What kind of brother and sister kiss like that? Seriously.
Well, there are cultures. None that I know of, but come on. But yet, till this day, do we really hear a lot of people giving that discourse? No.
Yeah, no. And
it's just
I always say the dumbest reveal in Star Wars is that Leia is Luke's sister. But it's fine. It works. And we've all accepted it because that's the story that was told. At some point, the only way to enjoy any film, not just Star Wars, but you can't get mad that somebody wrote a thing the way that they would write it. I mean, and that's really what it comes down to. Like,
It's
unless
the thing.
unless it completely spoils all the goodwill,
thing.
like How I Met Your Mother, where it's like, wait, this was the idea you had.
That's the only exception in this case.
But I can't really think of anything. I can't really think of anything else that ever.
That's awesome.
That
somebody's bitter. Somebody's bitter.
He's very bitter.
I really can't think of anything else that has ever upset me that much that I'm just like, I can never watch this again. You know, I mean, for different reasons. Maybe if it's something is too intense, it's like, yeah, I don't want to subject myself.
Mark,
but like,
this is a level of passion that I've never seen from you before.
Ultimately,
passion.
you can't get super mad about the way that somebody told a story. Yeah.
Sorry. No, the love he has for Thrawn, let me tell you, that is something.
I have passion for
does.
this blue guy.
Passion for Thrawn. Oh boy, I can't wait to listen to
Look
that
at
show.
see? Yes, Mark is definitely scarred for life.
I was, yeah.
Eric said you're scarred for life, totally. But I want to talk more really quickly about Josh Gad and Daisy. He asked her an important question. Actually, he didn't ask her. He put a statement saying, please do not be selfish and let Rey finish her story in 10 more years. But her comment was, for her, The Rise of Skywalker tied it up in a neat bow.
And that's
with
it.
her character. And that was it.
That's it. Yep.
And that's where she left it. That being said, do we believe her? I want to know. What
There's a future. There's a future.
They may not have
think Finn deserves to lead his own series of films.
True.
Yeah.
But
and I think Rey's story, although it was tied up at the end, let's say her lineage and ancestry was tied up there, and who she was at the end of the series was tied up there. But there is a lot more. I mean, there's a lot more you can go with this. This is there's just a lot more, and I would love to see more. Yes, there is.
We never saw exactly what happened with Luke right after Return of the Jedi. 10 years after. So it'd be cool,
and we still haven't
with Rey 10 years after or something like that. So
there you have it.
Yep.
But we should wrap this up in a nice little bow as well.
Okay. Well,
agreed.
We'll do this next time.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we have to, because it'll be more fun with more people than just you and I.
Just
because,
you and me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, All right, so let's see. I didn't put any outro in here. I'm bad today.
People know who we are.
Well, all our contact information will be in the comment section, not the comment section, but the description box of the YouTube video.
Right.
Yeah,
it's
all
of course it's
too.
scrolling in front of us too. So you'll be able to just click on that.
If you want to find us, just look underneath the boot of Palpatine. We are his pitiful little band. It's okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, Pitiful Little Band is on, obviously, YouTube. You can find our network also on Twitter and on Facebook. You can find all the individual shows, Kanata's Castle, Idiot's Array, Tarkin Top Shelf. We're all on every social media. So whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, we are there. Definitely follow, like, and subscribe. That would definitely help us out. All of us, if you need to reach out to us privately about any type of things that you see going on that is not right and you feel awkward about it, let us know. Each of us have our DMs open, or if you prefer, you can do our emails. That is actually listed at every single social media platform that we have. If you want to email this network, though, you can do it, I believe, at pitifullittlebandnet@gmail.com, and one of us will get back to you.
And one thing I'll add to that, you don't have to email us just to tell us how much we're wrong or anything else like that either. I would love to hear your thoughts, either in agreement or otherwise, but to hear your thoughts about everything we talked about, because I enjoy reading the emails. Mark and Ryder and I have always enjoyed reading our listeners' emails, and it actually spawns, if we will, bad choice of words, but spawns new discussion in future shows. There's lots to read, and I love it.
Oh,
so yeah,
absolutely. All right,
gang.
With that,
let's see here. This
party's over.
And goodbye.
Well said. Yes. May the force be with you, everybody.
May the force be with you, everybody.